Let's go Oilers. Let's go Oilers. Oilers lose in overtime. Hey, we got the loser point. Loser points. Post-game reaction. Oilers were hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. Not just one. Tell that's Jack Eichel. But Vegas Golden Knights. Bressois was in net for the Oilers. Welcome back, Luc Bressois. You've been here before with different teams. Yada yada, you heard the spiel. He wasn't very good, but he was good enough to get the overtime win. Oilers were, as a whole, were not good enough to get the win. They tried, they did their best, but this win, this overtime loss, just shows that they can hang with the best teams in the NHL. Came up $1 short and a day late, but hey, sometimes them's bees the breaks. We're going to get right into this deep dive because, hey, they lost in overtime. What is there to be mad about? We got a point. We got 2 more home games left now. 1 to start April, 1 to end the year. Get hyped, guys. I mean, why are we mad? Oilers got a point against a really good team. And they've been a really good team all year solely. And I'm going to say this all year until they're out of the playoffs because they're not going to get to round 1 regardless who they play. They got into the playoffs solely because their first 2 months of the season were against the easiest opponents. For a month and a half straight, they played bottom feeders. Yeah, I can make playoffs too if I got 30 points against the bottom feeders of the league. Well, sign me up for that one, folks. So, we started out by a bad breakdown. Shot 1, goal 1. Now, it was scored by Jack Eichel. Hoorah for him, Jack Eichel taking shots at net. Imagine that. Him and Matthews would lead the league in shots on net and lead the league in the worst shooting percentage for the league as well. But Eichel scores a goal, makes it 1-0 Vegas. There was a miscue there by the Draisaitl line, but I feel Skinner should have had that. One shot, 1 goal. It is what it is. We put that bias. The Oilers are a good enough team to overcome 1 goal. Right, Mikko Koskinen? Everybody was on him game after game for giving up the first goal. Would have hated to hear the freaking Twitter banter if it was Jack Campbell in net and giving up the first goal. You guys would have been asking for heads to roll. But because it's Skinner, it was allowed, right? He's allowed to give up 1 bad one. So, we move on. And it plays maybe a minute later. Hyman. Sir Hyman, how you doing? You tip it in, you beautiful man. Nice little tip between his legs. Backdoor. It's where Bressois could not touch the puck. Now that's where we get funds and games. We get funds and games from that because it was assisted by Draisaitl and Hopkins. 1-1 game. We aren't upset by that. How could you be upset by a 1-1 game? I mean, they're 2 playoff teams. It could be round 1 playoff matchup. Isn't that what we want as Oilers fans? We want to see this team get a little bit of adversity at the beginning, battle back from adversity, push pace, and then see what we got, a mixture of the 2. So we did that. Vegas ended up taking a penalty. They don't take very many penalties. Remember, Vegas is probably the top 5 teams of least amount of penalties they take and most amount of power plays they get. They get a lot of power plays and they don't take very many penalties. You draw your own conclusions to that. I am not touching that one. I've touched it enough in the stream. Betting should not be allowed, but you got to make money somehow. So, Oilers get a power play. They do nothing on it because we're back to the Edmonton Globetrotters. How many passes does it take to put the puck in the net? Apparently 20 passes, and it still doesn't go in. Teams are playing large box or small box when it comes to Oilers' power play because they know it's going to 3 people. Bouchard, McDavid, Draisaitl. Occasionally it bounces off Hyman's stick for a screen in front, and occasionally Hopkins touches it to be the setup guy. But for the most part, it's 3 guys the puck is going to. If you can shut down McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard, he pretty much shut down the Oilers' power play. And that first power play was exactly that. Pathetic, pathetic, pathetic. So, you can't win. You can't score on every power play. I get it. We're still the best power play in the league. But, hey. So the Oilers end up taking a penalty of their own. Here's where I'm not impressed with the consistency of the refs. Several times in that first 10 minutes of the first period alone, that play was not called. On both sides. On both sides. I'm not just saying Vegas was overlooked more than Edmonton was, because it was called. The calls weren't going either way. And then all of a sudden, Vegas got a penalty. We got to think of something. Yamamoto fell over, but it looked like while he was falling, he grabbed onto his stick. Penalty! So what did you think was going to happen on the penalty? Oilers didn't clear the puck. They were out there the whole time. And unfortunately, Dorovanov scores, makes it 2-1 Vegas on the power play. I mean, we need to be better on the PK at times. We need to get the puck out. It is what it is. Was it a shot that Skinner should have saved? I don't know. I think he was screened, so I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt that it was just a screen shot. Really good shot. Sometimes you got to tip the cap, say good hat, move on, sir. So it was 2-1 Vegas after one, and I wasn't happy about it. A lot of people in my chat, if you watch the live stream, were not happy about it. The Oilers didn't play well enough to be leading, but they didn't play bad enough to be down, if you know what I mean. Like it was a playoff game, and we've been preaching this team needs to learn how to play playoff hockey. Well, that was playoff hockey at its finest, folks. A back and forth, neutral zone, muck up, stuck up type of hockey. That was playoff hockey that you're going to get if you play Vegas and if you play LA round one. Those are the type of periods that you're going to get in the playoffs. Because they're going to make for you to capitalize on your mistakes and then attack. They're not going to create their own. But I'm also sick and tired of teams doing this fucking cherry pick bullshit. You've got 5 guys on the ice. Why is one all the way up at the red line, blue line, forcing the other defense? Like, I get it. I understand it. It's just not hockey. It's fucking chicken league. It's bush league. Stop it. You're better. But second period starts. Oilers get a power play. Power play. One more power play because each team only had 2 power plays apparently. And each team went 1 for 2 on the power play, although there was a lot of infractions that went uncalled. We'll get into that in the third period, shall we? Draisaitl scores. Wow, he scores a power play goal again. Good for Draisaitl. I mean, come on. It's his 99th career goal on the power play. 299th career goal. Assisted by McDavid and Bouchard. All right. We got ourselves a hockey game. 2-2. And it remained 2-2 after 2. Until it wasn't. Third period. Again, it was back and forth. It was chippy. Both teams were hitting. Okay, so the difference between this game and a playoff game is both teams were hitting, but not hit to hurt for the first half of the game, if you know what I mean. Like, they were hitting, they were letting people know they were there, but they weren't running people through boards, trying to injure. Well, that all fucking changed in the third period. Right like that, it changed, which is good for the Oilers, because they just showed Vegas, they showed the rest of the West. You push us, we're pushing back. You hit us, we're hitting back. And they did. And they did. And they did. Both teams were hitting with more intensity now. Both teams were ratcheting up the energy levels. It felt like fucking game 5 of a playoff game. It felt like this was playoffs. That's still a couple weeks away. I can't wait for that. But bad giveaway. Puck does not get deep in the offensive zone. So what usually happens, my friends, when the puck does not get deep in the offensive zone? 8 out of 10 times, it ends up at the back of your net. And that's exactly what happened when Marchessault scored to make it 3-2 Vegas. 3-2 Vegas, about 10.5 minutes left, getting down to 9 minutes now. And some people in the chat and some people on Twitter, as I was reading after the game, I've had a chance to read a little bit, we're saying, oh, this team sucks, this team's done. Like, not in our chat. Like, thankfully, my group of people, you're amazing. My mods are amazing. The people that watch my stream, you guys are all awesome. Thank you for showing up. You guys are great. You guys are positive. You guys are like, well, there's lots of game left. Anything can happen. It's the Oilers. We're just one shot away. We're one shot away from tying this game up. It's the Oilers. It's the Oilers. It's the Oilers. Oh, boy, was it the Oilers, though. And for the most part, I was staying positive. I was with you guys. I was like, you know what? Vegas isn't that good. They've been playing well enough to have the lead, but they're not playing well enough to win the game, in my eyes. In my eyes, there's a bit more to give, right? Like, they could play better. Brissois in net. He's been known to be either really good stretches where he's saving every fucking thing, which he was. He saved a lot of shit he shouldn't have saved, but then you remember, isn't this a guy that gives up the softest of softest goals? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, did he ever. And Mr. Fogle, welcome to the scoring. Whew. Fogle scores, assisted by Nurse and Yamamoto. But huge shout out to my guy, Agent Smith, who called the goal around the time that it happened. Like, he called it before, but he said the time. And it happened around the time that it happened. So huge shout out to Agent Smith for calling the goal. But that's where the fun times ended for the Oilers. And that's where the refs kind of let... I can't even say it's their ego. I just don't even think they're good. Like, I honestly don't think the reffing in the NHL is up to snuff to be refs in the NHL on most nights. I think it's so diluted nightly, especially when you've got 12 games a night. It's just, you can't have your best refs reffing important games. And this game was a very important game, and you had not very good refs. McDavid gets cross-checked in the back. Like, I mean, fuck, come on. You're looking at the play. It's in front of the net. How do you not call that? Even if you think he dove. Okay, he dove. 2 for you for embellishment. 2 for you for cross-checking. You're both off the ice for 2 minutes. Hi, how you doing? How's your mother? You know what I mean? Like, okay, call them both. But the fact that you stared at the play and you seen that it wasn't just a flop, that he was actually cross-checked and you let it go, it's unacceptable. But then for what happened later on in the period with like 1 minute and 29 seconds left, there's a scrum in front of the Oilers' net. Great. We love to see scrums. We are all for scrums. We are all for after the whistle, punch you in the mouth, punch you in the mouth. Let's go to our benches and we'll talk about it later. I'm all for that. I am all for the one-on-one battle. I got you, you got me. Let's yell at each other. Let's grab each other. Let's give each other face washes. Let's show we're mad at each other without actually punching each other. I'm all about that. I'm cool with that. That's... Your energy is high. You want to win. There's a lot on the line. Do it. But what Stevenson did while Desharnais and Kessel were battling, and let's call that what it was. Kessel and Desharnais were hooking each other. They were battling for position in front of the net. The whistle goes because it was saved by Skinner, which was a big one. And then Kessel punches Desharnais in the mouth. Desharnais retaliates with a little shiver of his own. And then Kessel does the bitch thing. And I hate when NHL players do this because it is absolute bitch thing. You lower your head and then you push your helmet up into the guy's chin. Like, fuck you, man. Like, that's intent to injure. You're a little bitch for doing that, and I'm sorry if you don't appreciate this language on this channel for that, but it is. It was a baby move. You're a baby for doing it. And then Stevenson grabbing Desharnais' helmet, ripping it off his head during play. Is that not a 2-minute roughing penalty if you rip a helmet off a player? Should it not have been a 2-minute roughing penalty for Stevenson? Third man in kind of sort of deal? No. 2 minutes roughing for Desharnais, 2 minutes roughing for Kessel. Nothing for the idiot coming in and ripping the guy's helmet off. Take that checkbook, because Stevenson, I hope you don't play on Tuesday when the Oilers are in Vegas because your head's going to get kicked in. Just a prognostication of prognostications, foreshadowing, if you will, because you will have your number. And McCabe, number 3 for Vegas. Keep your head on a swivel, kid. You thought what the Oilers were doing to you after you ran McDavid, cross-checked McDavid was bad for the rest of the game. Wait till Vegas. You're not going to have a pleasant night. But that's Tuesday. Today's today. Of course, Oilers are in overtime. They lose. They win the face-off, but can't do anything with it. Vegas then holds on to it. They rag it. They do what they can to keep the Oilers away from the puck. So fucking boring. And they capitalize on an Oilers mistake because they had Kane out there with Nurse and Hopkins. Nurse is at the point. Why is your best defensive player at the point covering the defenseman? Exactly what Vegas wanted. Eichel to Roy. Roy had 2-3 shots on net. Skinner makes an amazing save. Puck's still laying there. Nobody's even close to touching Roy. He tucks it in. Game over. How's your mother? Loser. Oiler point. But all in all, the game was a good game. All in all, the Oilers almost won, giving a C effort, a B- effort. Vegas gave a B+ to an A effort to start the game and throughout the game. They showed why they are kind of a good team. They play well defensively. They block a lot of shots. You could have you could have a shooter-tooter in net, and they'll win 7 out of 10 games just because of how defensive that team is. They're not good. They're not going to score very much. So the Oilers better get used to seeing this team. Because I get the feeling that this is the team you're going to be facing round 1 of the playoffs. Whether you're here in Edmonton or in Vegas, this might be the team you're going up against. So anyways, Oilers lose. They get outshot a little bit. A little bit. 34-30. Like, what more? Like, you can't complain about games like this. This is playoff hockey. That third period was intense, and everything you wanted the Oilers to be for the last decade, you wanted this to be the Oilers. You wanted this to be the identity of the Oilers. And now you have it. We are March 25th. And this team is well established in the playoffs. What more can you ask for? Them to be first in the division? Okay. First in the conference? Sure. But it's just not them right now. Too many injuries to start the year. Too many injuries throughout the year. Too many bad defensive lapses. Gamely. Even today they had them. Playoffs are soon. This team is good. Let's be glad this team's even in the playoff race right now, guys. I like it. I like the heart this team showed in the third period. I wasn't thrilled with the heart for the first 2 periods, but that third period, if you have that third period moving forward, this team's in good shape. We have Arizona on Monday in Arizona. 300 goal watch for 3 players. They're all 1 away now because Draisaitl got his $2.99. Draisaitl $2.99. McDavid $2.99. Kane $2.99. Bunch of 300s coming on Monday? Sure hope so. For Oilers After Dark, my name is Matt. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell all your friends. We got a doozy of a team. We got a doozy of a playoff race.